Yo, it's Mac from the Everyday Nobody's podcast. I know you see the title, so let's get straight to it. Is Shannon Sharpe messy? I really don't know what to say, so I'm leaving it up to y'all to decide. Where's the line between good interviewing and being messy? I'm asking because Shannon's been getting a lot of backlash, and just last week I saw D.L. Hughley on the Up and Smoke podcast, and he said he'd never do Club Shay Shay.
Any truth that you refused to do Club Shay Shay?
Yes.
Was there a reason behind that?
Because I think that, and I've said this openly, I think that the reason that many of those men went on that show is because Skip shit on him. Skip shit on Shannon in a way that made most black men go, fuck that, we're going to make sure this brother. But then those very men were now all of a sudden the subject of ridicule. And then an art form I loved was trotted out week after week because it was in vogue. Mm-hmm. And Shay Shay is a great platform, but it ain't the arbiter of truth. I ain't never known a club where they told the truth at. Like, I ain't never known one club. Like, it ain't a bench, it ain't a Bible. It became a thing where it was this arbiter of all that was wrong. Now, I know everyone. I love Katt. I think Katt is an andre. I think he's one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen. I know Sid and Skip and Sid and Steve. I know Earthquake. I know all those men. And though I have a decidedly different experience with them. But I thought in terms of my perspective of Club Shay Shay in its initial iteration, it's an art form I loved that now was being trotted out and splayed out, and I thought it was misrepresented. Like, it would be like somebody telling you how shitty basketball was. You know?
He said he didn't like the way Shannon represented comedy, which is something that he loves dearly. He said a lot of comedians that he loved were ridiculed behind Club Shay Shay. He's obviously talking about the destruction that Katt Williams caused last year. Steve Harvey caught strays, Ricky Smiley caught strays, Earthquake caught strays, Faison caught strays. A lot of people got hit, and it was one of the biggest interviews of all time. I know a lot of people, they're like, how could you say you hate Club Shay Shay because it's divisive and then also go to Vlad TV? And I think his point is pretty simple. It's not that the people are being divisive. It's that the comedians are being divisive because he loves comedy so much, and these are his peers and his friends. Because we all know if we wanted to poke holes in what DJ Vlad does, we could say, he's being divisive by the questions he asks, to having guests on and then having their enemy on the next week. Like, that has always been a common thread with Vlad. My question for DL is, why do you judge the platform and not the comedians? Why is there no accountability for the comedians? Steve, Ricky, Cedric, they all spoke on Katt Williams prior to him coming on. It's just that his interview ended up blowing up. So why is there no accountability for these people that you call your friends? Why don't you hold them accountable for what they did to cause this? It's not Katt Williams' fault that he had the biggest interview. So then another comedian comes out, and it's Mike Epps, and he says he'll never go on Club Shay Shay.
Mike Epps Club Shay Shay coming this year?
Club Shay Shay?
Uh-huh.
No, I ain't gonna do no Club Shay Shay. Because I'm still trying to figure out why. I'm like, I was like,
I know y'all had to sit down.
Shannon Sharpe, y'all got to bring some white men on here and grill them. You can't just grill black people. That shit ain't right. I know we make money off clickbaiting and but clickbait them white folks. Get some of your NFL players that you know was up, get them on this show. Because
that's real.
Katt Williams, that shit he did, it was good, but it was bad. It was good because we enjoyed it, but damn. Man, he hurt them dudes' feelings saying all that crazy shit.
I understand where Mike Epps coming from, but also take it with a grain of salt because you got to remember just a year ago, they got into it. Shannon and Mike Epps, they had words. He alluded to Shannon Sharpe possibly being gay. Shannon didn't like that. And he said, hey, if you think I'm sweet, we could put our dick beaters up and we could get it shaken. Mike Epps was like, where I'm from, we ain't fighting no more. We too old for that. We shooting. Now, it did end okay because they ended up talking, but an interview never came of it. So when Mike Epps says he wouldn't go on there, I mean, there was bad blood there anyway. Mike is basically saying that he exploits black people and he wants to see Shannon treat white people the same way. That just goes back to my question earlier, though. At what extent do we hold the comedians accountable and not the platform? You don't have to answer the questions. Then as a consumer, it makes me ask, where's the line drawn between what questions an interviewer should ask and what is off limits? I've seen interviews where the fans were super disappointed because they felt like the interviewer was very softball and he didn't ask anything and he didn't have any opinions. He just gave the fluffiest interview that he could possibly give. I've also seen where people will look at the interview and they say, hey, this is very federal. These questions are crazy. Or they'll be like, why are you so gossipy? So it's like, I want y'all to tell me, like, where is the line? When is too far, too far? So now let's fast forward to the Coco Jones interview. He asked Coco Jones, was there ever any pressure to get the BBL like other women in the industry? Then he used SZA as an example because she said that she regretted getting the BBL.
Why do you feel you haven't come, or do you feel the need to succumb to societal pressures and change anything? Plastic surgery, BBL, bigger. SZA recently came out and said she regretted getting a BBL. Have you talked to anybody in the industry that has regretted any kind of? Because I think now the thing in the TV industry or the Hollywood movie industry is like this weight loss drug, the Ozempic, tirzepatide, semaglutide, things like that.
Yeah.
Have you talked to anyone that regret, like, whatever you do, don't do this?
No. The girls that I talk to, they be like,
Girl, do that.
That look good. I don't know about nothing, but that is eating right up. I'd be like, let me.
Now that would piss SZA off because she was like, one, why is my name put in this? Coco handled it well. She answered properly, but why is her name being put in this? And she actually likes Club Shay Shay, but she'll never go on the show now because he didn't have to bring her name up. Then once again, the internet came at Shannon because they were like, why are you so gossipy? Now me, I watched the full interview. So I will actually say that was a fair question. I don't think he needed to bring SZA's name up in it, but that actually was a fair question if you watch the full interview and you understand the context of the question. If you only watch the clip, it is going to sound crazy. So here's the context. She's a child actor. She was on Disney Channel. So when he's going through her whole life story, he's asking questions because we've seen how a lot of these child stars turn out kind of messed up. So he's basically asking, hey, how was it for you growing up and being famous? So Coco Jones, she went from being a Disney actor. She had a lot of money and then she lost it all. And then she had to reinvent herself as an adult. She became a successful R&B artist and she was seen in the Bel Air spinoff. So when Shannon is asking these things about her childhood, is because we've all seen like the Nickelodeon doc. It was crazy. Like we saw how bad these things were. And then he's also asking her, hey, did you fall into the thing that people in Hollywood fall into, especially if you're young? Like, did you fall into buying BBLs and, augmenting your body? Because that's very common. Like I said, to me, it makes a lot of sense, but you would have had to watch the full interview to understand the context of it. He wasn't just picking on SZA, nor was he trying to be gossipy. He's trying to get the full spectrum of what you went through in Hollywood as a child to what it's like as an adult and everything in between. The only problem I had is he didn't need to use SZA as an example. To me, using SZA as an example reminded me of when the OGs would say, hey, I hate mumble rap is trash, and then Lil Yachty was the face of it. So now every time somebody says mumble rap, they think of Lil Yachty. He was offended by it, rightfully so, because he doesn't want to be seen as the face of trash rappers. That's how SZA felt. Anything that's deemed negative, you're not going to want to be the face of it. Like, that's obvious. So I completely understand SZA's reaction. I just wouldn't call it messy. I thought it was a pretty good question. Now let's have the honest conversation. One thing that I remember from that Katt Williams interview that really made sense to me was he said, I probably won't ever go on Joe Rogan because Joe got 20 unfunny comedians that he's trying to make famous right now. I looked at Club Shay Shay as that olive branch for black comedians. He gave black comedians a voice. You got to think he had Katt, he had Godfrey, he had Cedric the Entertainer, he had Ricky Smiley, he had Steve Harvey, he had Miss Pat, he had Monique, he had Country Wayne. The list goes on. He was really looking out for black comedians. And he's such a massive platform. I'm not saying he's as big as Joe Rogan, but I am saying this is a massive platform where black comedians can tell their story and they can actually be seen. It's like on one hand, we say black people don't support each other enough. Then Shannon creates this platform for black comedians to come and get their stories off. And now all people do is criticize how he does it because of what the comedian chooses to say.
You disloyal.
Shannon is literally the black Joe Rogan as far as black comedians go. I know if I was Shannon, I wouldn't even want to help no more if this is going to be the result. I reach out to people and all they do is criticize me. Why would I do this anymore? So with all that being said, I want to know how you feel. Is Club Shay Shay messy? Does he exploit black people? Should he not ask questions that pop up on social media? Should he only interview comedians and speak about the art of comedy? What is actually inappropriate to ask in an interview? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'm out.